The room was quiet, except for the soft hum of the ceiling fan. Emma sat at the edge of the bed, staring at her old diploma lying on the desk. It was her ticket to a dream she had held on to since she was a little girl. A chance to become an architect. She had always imagined herself designing buildings, creating spaces that people would love. But that dream now felt so distant, almost impossible to reach. Emma glanced over at her two children, Lily and Ethan, who were busy building a tower of blocks in the living room. They were laughing, their tiny hands clumsy but determined. She felt a warm rush of love, but also a pang of something deeper. Guilt, perhaps, or sadness. She had made choices that had changed the course of her life. Choices she could never take back. She had been 22 when she first found out she was pregnant with Lily. She and Mark, her college sweetheart, had been inseparable, talking about careers, travel, and the future. But when life threw them an unexpected curveball, everything changed. Emma remembered the night she sat in her tiny apartment, holding the pregnancy test in her trembling hands. She felt a whirlwind of emotions: fear, joy, confusion, but above all, a sense of responsibility she had never felt before. Mark was supportive, yet their reality was different. He was still finishing his degree, barely able to cover his own expenses. Emma had a part-time job, but it was barely enough. When she thought about continuing her studies, she realized the cost wasn't just financial. It was time, energy, and stability. She had dreams, yes, but now there were two little lives depending on her. It wasn't an easy decision, but Emma knew she had to give up her plans for architecture school. She thought about postponing them, but time was unforgiving. The reality was that her children needed her full attention. And so she sacrificed her dream, folding it neatly like the papers on her desk, and threw herself into motherhood. The first few years were exhausting. Emma became an expert at juggling. She woke up before sunrise, prepared breakfast, got the children ready for daycare, worked her shift at the local diner, and returned home to cook dinner, bathe the kids, and read them bedtime stories. Her days blended into nights and weeks into months. There were moments when she cried silently in the bathroom, wondering what her life could have been. Yet, despite the exhaustion, there was beauty in the chaos. She watched Lily take her first steps, and Ethan speak his first words. She was there for every scraped knee, every proud achievement, every bedtime whisper of, "I love you, Mommy." She realized that the world she had imagined building with her hands was now being built in small, precious moments with her children. Emma's sacrifice didn't go unnoticed. Her mother often tried to remind her to take time for herself, to pursue her dreams later, but Emma shook her head. She couldn't think of herself first, not when her children were still so small. Her friends, some of whom were climbing the career ladder, often asked if she regretted giving up her ambition. She would smile and shake her head, but inside there was a quiet ache. She missed the feeling of designing, of creating something tangible, something that belonged to her. But the children grew, and so did Emma's pride. She saw herself reflected in them, not in the career she had abandoned. Lily loved drawing and would often show her sketches, proudly announcing, "Mommy, look, I made a building." Ethan loved puzzles and was fascinated by machines. Emma encouraged them, always reminding herself that her sacrifice was giving them a foundation, a stability, and a chance to chase their dreams freely. One afternoon, as she was helping Lily with a school project, Lily looked up at her mother and said, "Mom, when I grow up, I want to be just like you." Emma's heart swelled. "Why, sweetheart?" she asked, trying to hold back tears. Lily smiled and said, "Because you always help me, even when you're tired. You never give up on me." It was in that moment Emma understood the true depth of her sacrifice. Dreams could be postponed, but the love and guidance she offered her children were irreplaceable. Her career could have brought her recognition and success, but what she had built with her children was something far more enduring. She had become their anchor, their safe harbor in a world that was often unpredictable and unforgiving. Years went by and Emma found ways to integrate her passion into her life, even in small ways. She started designing little spaces in the home, organizing the children's study area, planning the garden layout, and decorating rooms with care and creativity. It wasn't architecture on a grand scale, but it kept the spark alive, a reminder of the dream she had once held so tightly. Her sacrifices also shaped her into a stronger, wiser woman. Emma learned patience in ways she never imagined. She learned the power of resilience, of persistence, and of love that demanded no reward. She discovered joy in the simple moments, a shared laugh, a hug that lingered, a note left on the fridge that said, "Thank you, Mom." These moments became her treasures, her proof that her sacrifices were not in vain. Emma often reflected on her younger self and the path she had chosen. There were times when regret tried to creep in, whispering about the career she had forsaken. But she would close her eyes, think of Lily and Ethan, and feel a quiet pride. She had given up a dream, yes, but in return, she had built something more profound. A family rooted in love, trust, and hope. Even Mark, who had once been her partner in love and life, acknowledged the magnitude of her choices. He often said, "You gave them the world, Emma, even when it meant giving up your own." Those words, simple yet powerful, reminded her that sacrifice wasn't about loss. It was about transformation. Her life had changed, yes, but it had also been enriched in ways she could never have imagined. One evening, Emma sat on the porch with a cup of tea, watching the sun dip below the horizon. Lily and Ethan played in the yard, their laughter carrying in the gentle breeze. Emma took a deep breath, feeling a mix of exhaustion, relief, and gratitude. She realized that her sacrifices had not made her smaller. They had made her stronger, fuller, more capable of understanding the depths of love. She thought about all the women she knew, the mothers who had quietly given up dreams, ambitions, and personal desires for the sake of their children. She understood now that there was an invisible thread connecting them, a thread woven from sacrifice, love, and resilience. She was proud to be a part of that legacy, a story that often went untold but was felt deeply by those who lived it. Emma also began to see the fruits of her labor in unexpected ways. Lily, inspired by her mother's creativity and dedication, announced one day that she wanted to become an architect. Emma listened, her heart pounding with a mixture of surprise and joy. "You can be anything you want, sweetheart," she said softly, and for the first time in years, she felt that her dreams had not been lost, they had been passed on, nurtured in another generation. Her story was not one of regret or despair. It was a story of courage, of a woman choosing love over ambition, understanding that some dreams are postponed, not abandoned. Emma realized that sacrifice is not a burden. It is an act of devotion, a testament to the depth of human love and resilience. As the children grew older and became more independent, Emma found ways to reconnect with her own passions. She took evening classes in design, attended workshops, and slowly began to rebuild the dreams she had set aside. But this time, her dreams were not separate from her children. They were intertwined. Her family had become both her inspiration and her foundation, giving her strength to pursue her goals with a sense of purpose and balance. Emma's journey was not easy, and she would be the first to admit that there were countless moments of doubt and fatigue. But every smile, every milestone, every whispered, "I love you," reminded her that her sacrifices had created something beautiful. In giving up her personal ambitions, she had gained something immeasurable, a family bound together by love, trust, and the unspoken understanding of shared sacrifices. In the quiet moments of the night, when the children were asleep and the house was still, Emma sometimes sat by the window and reflected on her life. She thought about the little girl who once dreamed of designing buildings and realized that she had, in a way, done so. She had built a home, not just with bricks and walls, but with patience, guidance, love, and unwavering dedication. That was a creation far more enduring than any architectural marvel. Emma smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. Her story was not about what she had given up, but about what she had created through love and sacrifice. It was a story that many women could relate to, a story of resilience and devotion that often goes unnoticed but shapes the future in profound ways. And as she looked at Lily and Ethan, playing together in the golden glow of the evening sun, Emma knew that her sacrifices had been worth every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, every postponed dream. Because in those moments of laughter and love, she had found her own form of success, a legacy of care, compassion, and a mother's unwavering devotion. Emma understood, finally, that true fulfillment doesn't always come from achieving personal dreams in the way we imagine. Sometimes it comes from shaping the lives of others, from offering guidance, love,